Welcome back, Awakening Beauties. Welcome back, my friends. If this is the first time you're looking at my channel, watching a video, this is sort of the intersection of beauty, fashion, and spirituality. And I'm so glad to have you today. Thank you for joining me. And in this video, I'm going to talk about first quarter, how's it going? As many of you know, if you've been following my channel, I'm doing a no-buy year. And that means that I'm not buying any skincare, makeup, household products, other than cleaning products, but no decorating products. I'm not buying shoes, accessories, all of the fun stuff that gives our life a little flavor. I'm not trying to lead an austere lifestyle. This came out of necessity of watching myself overspend last year, especially towards the last half of last year of 2022, and just seeing that this was not a sustainable way of managing my finances. And I'm paying the repercussions as a result, which kind of shows in this first quarter. We're going to get into sort of the numbers. I made a video a couple months ago looking at how I was spending my money last year and ways that I thought I was going to be able to save money now that I was not going to be buying in those particular categories. But, you know, the numbers that I'm looking at for the first quarter are both hopeful, and there's some that are just like, ugh, that doesn't look so good. I need to sort of reassess some of the ways that I'm still spending money. And, you know, life happens, and you never know what you're going to be thrown. And just like this week, my dog, which she's made appearances in other videos, she's a 10-year-old golden retriever, and she had a malignant tumor that had to be removed. And so that was almost $1,200, you know, and thankfully everything was successful. And I've sort of had a little bit of a miserable week over it, you know, the anticipation coming up to it. And, you know, just, you know, anytime anyone goes under anesthesia, whether it's an animal or a human, it's scary because you never know what could happen in those circumstances. But thankfully, she's back to her fun-loving self, doesn't act like anything is wrong. And so we're glad to have that behind us. These are not going to show in these first quarter figures because this just happened and we're in the month of April right now. Let's just kind of get to it. We're going to go over the numbers. I've made a comparison to previous year, first quarter to this year. And yeah, let's just get into it. So the first thing I'm going to say is kind of the most disappointing change is that our net income was actually down by 115%, almost 116%. And there are reasons for that. Even though I'm spending less in all the categories where I'm doing a no-buy year, there were other things that cropped up. Like we've said, you have unexpected expenses that happen. One of those, you know, unexpected expenses is in our home, our housing. We had $672.18 that we had to spend to get, we had some repairs that had to be done. Our air conditioner was acting up. That was a portion of that. And even though our air conditioner is less than a year and a half old, the parts were warranted, but the labor wasn't, which kind of sucks. So that was expensive and unexpected. When you have a brand new air conditioner, you don't expect that. Some other categories that increased were for education. And I've always been a person that for the past, since 2016, so for 7 years, I've taken improv classes. And that wasn't a category I really would track as far as my spending. But, you know, for the past, well, since 2020, there's been very few improv classes that were ongoing, so that I didn't spend a lot in that category in 2022. let's just say. But for this year, I've spent $501 on improv classes because I've taken in January and February, I had a sketch comedy class, and then I took an advanced improv class, which was so much fun. I had the best time. Last week was the last one. And then I signed up for another one taught by a different teacher, which started last week. So they overlap, those two classes overlapped by a week. And yeah, so I spent $500 just on improv classes. And that's a lot. I'm not gonna lie, that's a lot. So going forward now, when this class ends, I'm just gonna have to reassess, because in my mind, I had a number in my mind that I was comfortable spending. And in my mind, I was comfortable spending $100 a month on improv classes. So I've gone over budget. So I'm just gonna have to kind of reassess that number a little bit. So the other thing that I've placed under education is my guitar lessons. And I've spent $390 on my guitar lessons. And I'm not taking them every week. I'm not able to take them every week. But, you know, that's something I really don't want to give up, because I've progressed to a good place and I do feel like I'm getting better, and I do want to continue to take guitar lessons. So that needs to be definitely part of my budget. This next expense that made up the remainder, the $495, was something that I don't do very often, but I have a friend who is, forget what it's called. She's a trainer for Dr. Joe Dispenza's organization. So she's gone through all of his training, and she does corporate training. And so she was offering at a discount a workshop that we did via Zoom. And I found it very helpful. I learned a lot, and it really got me, you know, sort of back on track with meditating. Although I'll say I have been prioritizing my sleep for the past 2 weeks, because I have not been getting enough sleep. I know I complained about that in another video, but I was only getting 5 to 6 hours a night, and I just found that I was starting to feel really burned out. So I haven't been getting up at 5 a.m. to meditate the way that I was, and I've been skipping my morning meditation until I can get myself to going to bed earlier. I don't know how I'm gonna continue with those morning meditations, but either way, that was $495. That's a one-time thing. I'm not going to be doing, as far as I can tell, I probably won't be doing anything like that again for the remainder of the year. So that was the education expense, which, by the way, education, the percentage of increase over last year first quarter was almost 265% increase, because last year I spent $380 on the education portion of my budget. Another surprise, and maybe that's just because I'm going out more, things are, you know, really loosened up, and I'm just enjoying going out more with friends and things, is the entertainment budget. It also increased by 247%. I spent $417.50 on entertainment versus $120. Now, I wasn't tracking things, I don't think, as carefully last year, so I could have taken out money and categorized it as groceries when in fact we used it for entertainment. There's some leeway here. I think maybe I have spent a little bit more on entertainment, but I don't think that it's quite that high of a difference between the two previous years. So that's just something kind of interesting to see. Going to have to kind of take a closer look at that entertainment budget. But, you know, when you think about for 3 months, $417.50, that's just over $100 a month, which isn't so bad when you kind of look at it like that, like $125 a month. I don't know. I'll do the math later. Maybe I'll pop it up on the screen. So some of the categories that were surprising to me that I am trying to save money on is the category of beauty products. So looking at that, beauty and skincare, I was really surprised that my spending was higher this quarter than the first quarter of 2022 by an increase of 224%. Spent $704.35 in the first quarter on beauty and skincare. Again, I will make the caveat that I may not have categorized things correctly, such as Amazon purchases. I might have categorized them as just groceries because I didn't want to take the time to every month when I was going through my statements to like look up every single order and see what I ordered. I'm doing that now. It's so it takes so long to do, but I'm doing that. But when I did look at that number, that $704.35, I found that I actually ordered $351 worth of products in December before I started my no-buy year, but Amazon did not bill me for it until after the first of the year because I guess it didn't ship until after the first of the year. So technically, that is for last year. So that leaves me with only $353.31, which is a change of plus 62, almost 63%. And again, I'm going to make a caveat here. There's a couple of reasons why that number is higher. One of the reasons, as we've already said, I wasn't categorizing health and beauty and skincare is what this is called, beauty and skincare. I wasn't categorizing that really well last year when I was placing these Amazon orders. But the other thing is that I'm buying more skincare products for my husband because he's now really kind of gotten into a regimen. He's taking better care of his skin. And so some of those products are actually for him. So, so I think I'm probably less, technically I'm probably less, but I did spend less on myself, but I did spend more overall if we're just looking at these numbers. Clothing and accessories. Now, $42.51, but that was actually, again, an Amazon order I placed in December. So that number is actually zero. So being zero means that it is, because the first quarter of last year I had spent $295.76 the first quarter on clothing and accessories. So this year, that is a zero. So that feels really good. Feels super good, actually. Some of the other categories, let's see. Decorating, that's also at a zero. I guess it was at a zero last year as well. So no significant change there. Again, we did spend more on home repairs, but you just never know. Now, although I wasn't necessarily cutting back on dining and groceries, there is good news here. Our dining has gone down by 37%, 37.87%. So that's really good. I was hoping we would get that number down, and we have. Groceries have gotten way more expensive, but we have actually gotten our grocery bill down by more than 20%, 20.56%. It's gone down. So whereas last year we were at just over $3,500, this year we're at $2,800 for the first quarter. So that's great. So in the health category, which I consider like massage, personal trainer, gym membership, and vitamins, in that total health, I'm down by 52%. I canceled my gym membership, so a couple, like at the beginning of the year, so I did end up paying for like a month and a half of that, and it's not like an LA Fitness. It was a really upscale gym it's got the whole thing. It's got the spa and everything. I love that place, and I hope one day I can rejoin, but I also have not spent any money on a personal trainer, and I do feel like my physical health is maybe suffering a little bit. I have not been working out, That's not a good thing. That's something I really need to start to focus on again, is getting, back to working out and getting stronger again. But I've put that sort of on the back burner. Part of it is just keeping up with this channel. I know that's not a great excuse, but I do work full time and I have a long commute to work. So it's tough. It's tough to get everything in that you want to do in life. And, sometimes some things have to sacrifice. And really, that's not one of the things that should sacrifice ever. Every life coach, every, Tony Robbins type of person will tell you that you got to put your health first. So that's definitely something I'm going to take into consideration over the next few months. Vitamins, I've spent more on vitamins, and that is not a bad thing. I've spent 13% more on vitamins, and no regrets there. I've added some things to my regimen that I wasn't taking a year ago, and I really think those things are helping me, which, knock on wood, that's taking care of your health too, is taking your vitamins. So that's something I'm going to, for the foreseeable future, continue to do as long as I can afford it. So some of the miscellaneous kind of categories, like for our pet, we've spent, we spent 164% more. She's had, she's had just a few things, that we've had to take care of. So that is definitely, needs to be, as she gets older, we got to kind of make sure we're budgeting more money for taking care of her. Hopefully no more surgeries. She had a surgery last year as well to remove a couple of tumors, and this year, she's already had a cancerous tumor that had to be removed. So this probably is a big consideration too, that I made my final tax payment to the government for our 2021 tax return, which we ended up owing like over $10,000. And so it kind of wiped out all of our savings to pay them back. But I wanted to get that paid. And so that was $2,600. So when I look at like the net income overall going down, those things definitely play a part in that. My travel expenses went down to $100. I don't even remember what I did. Maybe I went out of town and that was, money I took with me to go visit somebody. I've taken a couple little. Medical overall has gone up because, actually it didn't go up. It's about the same. It actually went down by 12%, but that's only because I've been putting off my vision appointment. I need new contacts. I need new glasses. And I know that that's going to be expensive. Thankfully, with the job I have now, I have vision insurance. I've never had vision insurance before in my life, so I'm not sure how that's going to work as far as saving me money. And I also have a health savings account. So, I might have to use some of that money for some of the medical expenses, because my husband had some medical expenses with the dermatologist. That's why he's taking such good care of his skin now, which is a good thing. So sort of last thoughts about this. It's good news, bad news. And some of the bad news was things that we weren't anticipating having to spend money on. And really, if I take out, maybe I'll do that. I'll just take out some of the things that we weren't anticipating having to spend money on, that we did, that isn't a normal thing for us. So if I removed some of the things that we don't normally have, like that tax payment and the home repair, I decreased that to $250, because that's sort of our average of what we're spending every quarter on home repairs. And if I take some of those things out, the difference in net income actually changed to be only 12% less than last year, which it was dollar change was $429. And I will say that part of our income from last year, if I take that out, part of the income was a gift received from my aunt, who sent us money for Christmas, and I must have deposited it in January. So if I take that out, actually, we have we've made more money. We would have made more money. We would have had a percentage of change of almost 100% more. So, you know, you kind of have to look at it big picture, that like that some of these numbers, you know, numbers are great, but you have to take some other things into consideration. If I just took that gift from my aunt out of there, if I took out the unexpected home amount for home repair, but that stuff happens, right? But we're actually doing better overall in those regards than last year. Doesn't really feel like we're doing better, because we're not, because we spent more money than last year. I guess final thoughts on this is that I'm really proud of myself for how I've stuck to my no buy year so far for the first quarter. I haven't even had really any cravings to go out and buy clothes. I haven't looked that much online. I've kind of started looking online because I have almost $300 in rewards that I have to use for my athletic account. I can spend it at Old Navy, I can spend it at Banana Republic, Gap, or Athleta. And since I use my Athleta MasterCard for most of my expenses, which I pay off every month, I accrue points, rewards. And like this $1,200 bill that we just had for Zoe for her surgery, I used my card and I'll pay it off. I'll have to take money probably out of savings to pay it off at the end of the month. But, you know, I know that's going to be, you know, a lot more rewards just from using that. So I've been thinking about how am I going to spend that money? And I started looking at, you know, all those 4 stores to see, is there anything that interests me? I kind of wanted to wait until the beginning of May before I committed to buying anything. And gosh, we're already halfway through April. Wow. I didn't realize how close I was to May. So like in 2 weeks, I should be theoretically, from what I had said when I started my no buy year, that I would wait until May to use any of those rewards on myself. And I'm not even sure that I want to. So that's kind of an interesting plot twist. I could always find things that I wanted in the past, but there wasn't anything that really interested me. There was maybe a couple of things, but they were Banana Republic, and I'm hit or miss with Banana Republic. Sometimes their sizing just runs really small on me, and I have a tough time in the past. But I haven't tried anything of theirs in a while, so maybe this time it'll work out. I don't know. We'll have to see if I choose to buy anything from them. That is the State of the Union. I appreciate that you watched it. I hope this has been interesting for you. It's definitely been interesting for me. And like I said, I'm really proud of myself. I thought this was going to be harder than it has been. And again, we're only a third of the way through the year. We are a third of the way through because we're middle of April. And but I really appreciate you joining me, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell. That way you know when my videos go live. I'm at this point trying to post on Sundays and on Wednesdays. And leave me some comments below. Have you noticed your spending habits change this year? Did you have a goal to decrease your spending? And if so, how are you doing with that? Do you track your spending through, something like QuickBooks? What are you saving money on this year? What do you find that you're spending more money on this year? All of that is very interesting. As we go through this journey together, I'm curious to know what's happening for you guys as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Remember, you're doing great.